This is
But why haven't written the 2 more answers? Like why only attempted 12 questions, 12 or 11?
sir. Usually I used to complete the paper, but this time I was not able to complete it, sir. And it was new because I had to write 8 questions out with 20 marks and
Oh, yeah.
remaining 15 marks. So I could not immediately write it. So next time I'll try to complete the paper.
Okay. But everything was nice in your paper. Your structure was very good. Like try
Okay.
to follow the same structure at least for the theories part when you are writing in the final examination.
Okay,
Like
sir.
you are given the introduction, you are given sometimes you are missing conclusion. So
Okay, sir.
in some 2 or 3 questions you will not write the conclusion. So please try to write conclusion in every question because it carries marks.
Okay, sir.
Then in the introduction itself, you are mentioning one anthropologist name, it is fine. And in some questions, you are missing the keyword. For example, in this question, it is critically substantiate. So
Okay.
it should be equally like balanced. Like you should write the positive and negative equally. But
Okay.
here you are given more importance to the positive side only. Here you are given criticism only very less.
Okay, sir. I have a doubt, sir. Criticism,
Yeah.
should I write it in the beginning of the answer itself since it is asking about the criticism, or can we write it at the end of the answer?
Now, critically evaluate, it should be at the end only.
Okay.
But when you are giving the space, it should be equal. Like if you are giving 4 points positive, 4 points should be negative.
Okay, sir. Okay.
That should be one thing you should remember.
Mm.
So in this question, there is one very, like even when you are keeping your criticisms also,
Okay,
try to
sir.
keep those criticisms which are very much favorable to the examiner. Like for example, here the armchair anthropologist is the first criticism you should write.
Oh, right. Okay, sir.
Like prioritize your criticism also in that way.
Okay, sir.
That is the first thing for you in this question. So
Okay, sir.
diffusionism you have written very well. Your answer is very good. Nothing to say here also. In functionalism, when you are writing cultural functionalism, you try to draw some diagrams. Like for
Okay.
example, here individual is the one who is very much important in cultural functionalism, right?
Yes, sir. Okay.
So you should write various individuals coming together and forming structure. In the reverse, you should write about structuralism. So
Okay,
if you could draw such diagrams, it could be very good. Other
Okay,
than
sir.
that, your answer is very nice.
Okay, sir.
This question, fourth question, your answer was not so good. The definition part of economic anthropology, you should write some very good standard definition.
Yes, sir. I was not able to recollect the definition, so I just had written something. I'll work on it, sir.
Yeah, those every sub branches you make one definition. Like for linguistic anthropology, economic anthropology, some anthropologist name.
Okay,
So
sir.
from next time onwards, you can write directly that answer. And
Okay,
here,
sir.
no need to mention formula substantives. You can directly jump into the contribution of Malinowski.
Okay, sir. Okay.
And the next part is fine. Here, I think this potluck is about redistribution, right? But he's asking about ceremonial thing. So,
Okay, sir. Okay. I'm just noticing that now. Okay, sir.
the question is about ceremonial thing. There you can write about collaring and war system is fine. But potluck is not about the ceremonial thing, right? It's about mostly redistribution.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So that is once you can read upon. And this contemporary relevance is nice. I think you did not get any content, right? So I added this thing, right?
Yes, sir. At last I was not able to think about anything.
True, I can understand. But try to make it a habit, right? Contemporary relevance in every answer.
Yes, I'll do.
Somewhere or the other. Your structuralism answer was very nice.
Okay, sir.
Very nice. You've done everything right. Tick every box. Even this Edmund Leach, this Leach also did justice to this question.
Yes, sir.
So here, cultural personality school. Here, the second keyword is also very important. National character study. So
I had it at last, sir.
First of all, your structuring is very nice. Like Rose Benedict made everything, but you can reduce the space for these two. Like in one page only, you can write about these two people. Then you start writing directly about national character study, because it should be given more weightage.
More weightage for national character studies.
This should be in 1.5 page only, not more than that. So basically, you have everything ready. Only thing you should work upon is to prioritize things, which to keep first and which to keep second. Apart from that, everything is nice. Try to bring in some examples in each question. For example, when you are writing about national character study, you are written about the normal things like about the Japanese character study. If you could find some other cultural study, some other thing if you are aware of or read somewhere or any news you have read about it.
Okay. Like so can we write it from the point of current affairs, or should it be only the studies which is done, right, sir?
if in current affairs, if there is anything that you can relate, for example, you can talk about the Ukraine war. Where there are some national character study on, right?
Exactly, sir.
So you can write that example in current relevance. Most of them are working upon there. And if you could find some very good studies, if you code that, it will give you some extra advantage.
Okay, sir, I'll do that.
And in the conclusion, you are writing very good conclusions. In every one more question, I thought this question, next question, you not write in conclusion, right? You just wrote.
Sir, I had no time, so I have to manage.
So basically, for 20 markers, give only 15 minutes. And for 15 marker, 11 minutes. Try to write within that time limit only.
Sure.
That could help you in the examination. This historical particularism directly start by Franz Boas. Here you can, like it is 15 marker, right? Here you can break the structure. Like no need to write major proponent, directly start by saying Franz Boas has said this and continue your answer. Because your space will be one constraint that you'll be having in this question.
Right, sir.
This question is very nice. Fourth answer you did very well. Say anything. So symbolic is also fine. In this thick description, there is one current affair. Maybe you have seen it. There is one thick description on Trump, Donald Trump.
Oh, okay, sir. I didn't know that.
There is one news article in 2019 or 20. They did one thick description of his policy.
Okay. I think I've seen that, sir. I'll add to that.
That one thing you can add upon here.
Okay, sir.
And the points that Sarah had given is also very nice. Once you go through those for the significance part.
Sure,
so, this answer is fine. This one you have given everything nice only. But in this culture circle, you have given everything right only. Nice. Your answer is nice. Only thing you should write all the answers.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Try to remember you are writing all the anthropologist names in the works also.
Okay, sir.
Only two things you should do now. One is to prioritize, like which point to keep first and which point to keep second. Then second is to find out the current examples.
Right, sir. Right. I'll do that.
Okay. It's very nice. You are done very well.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Very good marks this year.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sir.
So, who wants to go next? Please raise your hand. Who wants to go next? Siddharth Ramesh. Okay. Siddharth Ramesh. After Siddharth Ramesh, Prashant, be ready. My net is very slow. Please excuse me. It's just downloading.
Okay, sir.
Let's see if someone others had downloaded, then we can take them. Sai Madhavi. Is Sai Madhavi present? Sai Madhavi, please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sai Madhavi. Sai Madhavi got 105. Very good score. You attempted all the questions. You have given 30.
No, sir. I left one question, sir.
Why you don't have content, or what is the issue over there?
So no, sir. Actually, a time constraint is my main problem, sir.
Okay. So first question is about critically substantiate. So here you should write about the introduction only about Tyler itself. So rather than evaluation, you should write about Tyler and his contribution, because the keyword here is a special reference to E.B. Tyler.
Okay.
So introduction should be about E.B. Tyler. Then no need to write about these three things. You can directly jump into psychic unit of mankind. This diagram is very good. The society A, society B diagram. This gives you advantage, but try to mark it somewhat, figure 1, or try to make a box around it. It could make the difference.
Okay.
And as I said for earlier person also, the criticism part should be given more weightage, because they're asking about critically evaluate, right? It should be equally minutes. So try to give criticism also more weightage, rather than one page only. Give it from second or third page, and try to write the criticism more eloquently. Like try to prioritize more frequently, and try to write about the armchair. There are no field studies that are done. All these things you can mention in psychic unity and the classic evaluationists. And in the conclusion, you can write about the neo evaluationists, like how they improved upon evaluation and how the other anthropologists work from evaluation itself. Okay.
Okay.
And the next thing about British and German. So here you should write about diffusion. You go. Okay. This answer is very fine, Madhavi. You ticked every box. Like you have mentioned about all the schools and you have drawn some diagrams also. But you did not write any criticism, right? So try to make it a point, write criticism, not just one line. Sorry, not criticism, conclusion. So write some conclusion, not just giving the criticism. You can write about how diffusionism had affected the other schools, like how did it improve the functionalism school, or how historical particularism had evolved from diffusionism. Such ideas you can bring in the conclusion part.
Okay, sir. Actually, I was out of space, so I just considered in a vague way.
I did not get your voice. Your voice is breaking. Can you please repeat?
I was out of space, so I just considered in a vague way.
Yeah. I can understand. So you should see that also. You should also prioritize your space and you should give conclusion, because conclusion carries out some marks.
Okay, sir.
Here you should start by saying functionalism, not about Malinowski. You can talk about Malinowski and that will be on next. But you should holistically explain what functionalism means. So what that school tries to elaborate. Then you can write about these two people. Okay. In this table form is not very good. You can write about each person, like what culture functionalism means, and one case study about their work, and then about criticism part. So if you could structure like that, it would be very much fine, rather than giving in a tabular form, because it's not difference, right? Completely two different ends of the spectrum. So you can write about each of the school and try to write down their case study. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Here, economic anthropology. Who is this anthropology you mentioned? Platner.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Try to. What is his book? Do you know any book of his?
No, sir, not any book. I just know he is an economist.
Okay. Try to underline his name. If you can find some book, it will give you more weightage to your answer when you're writing about the definition part.
Okay, sir.
I think you are written directly from your notes, right? This is not very good structure. This you should not write like this. Here they are asking about ceremonial exchange. So first you should say what ceremonial exchange means. Then you can go to the examples like collaring.
Okay. Actually, they asked like, what do you mean by economic anthropology? So I thought the first 2 pages I will write about it.
No. Economic anthropology, only 2-3 lines is more than fine. Then you can write about scope briefly. Then you can directly jump into Malinowski's work, and then you can write about the ceremonial exchange.
Okay, sir.
Your answer is fine, but it looks to me like a note rather than an answer in this part. So you should improve your structure over there. Levi-Strauss structuralism is fine. In structuralism, if you can write about alliance theory and one diagram in Levi-Strauss thing, that should be one thing that you can work upon. In alliance theory, I have mentioned, right, role of exchange.
Yes, sir.
There you can draw one diagram. Then you can write about criticism. Then conclusion you can write. Okay. You can even mention about the other works of Levi-Strauss, like he talked about mythologues. Then there is one more thing. Such 2-3 books you can mention about Levi-Strauss, and you can elaborate the structuralism from there also.
Okay, sir.
This answer is fine. And here there is one more Russian book is there, right? Why national character study had been stopped. So that book you can mention. Then you can write in the conclusion, in current relevance, you can write some very good current relevance. Then in conclusion is fine. Symbolic, when you are writing about symbolic, try to underline. Okay. You can write about symbolism. Then you can write about Nedumbu ritual. I think you have written about Nedumbu.
Yes, sir. I have written about it.
Okay. Try to underline such. Okay, you have written Nedumbu ritual. Nice. But you should write some current relevance if you can find anything. If you can find some current relevance. Even today, even sacred groves are a type of symbolism only, right? Why they are protecting sacred groves? It is also for environmental well-being also. Such examples you can bring in so that your answer can be more dynamic. This answer is fine. This is also fine. In 15 marker, try to please bring in some current relevance. So 20 marker, you may or may not bring it, but 15 marker, try to make it a habit to bring some current relevance. Your conclusion is not very good in this answer. You're just saying that despite criticism, Malinowski field work is very good. But try to make some standard conclusions and try to use the same things in all the theories part.
Okay, sir.
Okay. This answer is fine. Culture, personality, culture. Thick description. There is one description as I mentioned about this Donald Trump. You try to find it and you can use it in current relevance over there. Your answer is not very. You're writing as if it's in your notes. like everything. Try to prioritize your points. Like for example, introduction should be only 4 to 5 lines or 3 to 4 lines. Don't write 2 paragraphs over there. And in introduction only, try to write one anthropologist name. For example, when you're writing about the concept of culture circle and diffusion, try to write about the diffusion list, some one diffusion list in introduction. Then you can elaborate about the different schools. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, everything is fine, but try to bring in some current relevance. Try to find some current relevance and try to complete your answer. With exam sheet, like don't leave any part of it.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Malini. Do you have any other doubts?
No, sir, that is. I should include contemporary relevance and like structuring of the answer I need to work on and conclusion.
Conclusion you should work upon, and structure also. Your structure is feeling like as if you are writing from notes only. Try to make it more exam relevant. Remaining all parts are.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Is Preksha there? Preksha. If Preksha is there, please switch on your audio. Preksha is not there. Siddharth, you can switch on your audio, Siddharth. Siddharth?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, Siddharth. Siddharth, you attempted all the questions, huh? Nice.
Yes, sir. Yes.
In 3 hours only?
Yes, sir. 3 hours, 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes you can manage. 5 minutes is not an issue. Oh, nice. Siddharth, whenever you're writing an introduction, make it a habit to write with one anthropologist name.
Okay, sir.
Then you elaborate his work. Like for example, here you can write about E.B. Taylor because they specifically asked in the question also, right? They're asking about special reference to E.B. Taylor. So start by E.B. Taylor and his work. And then you can write about he's a classical evaluationist, and then you can continue your answer.
Okay,
And
sir.
your introduction should be only 3 or 4 lines. Don't make big introductions. Your introduction should carry only 3 things. One is the anthropologist name, his work, and what is the definition that you are trying to mention over there.
Okay, sir.
Then psychic unity of mankind. It's fine. Here, no need to write this culture definition, Siddharth. You can directly start by saying what psychic unit of mankind is, and you can say how it had been evolved, like all these things. And you can bring in other anthropologists also. After E.B. Taylor, you can say how L.H. Morgan is there, how Fraser had brought in. So how they all imagine that psychic unit of mankind is still present. And then you should write about criticism. Criticism should take a higher weightage in this question because it is critically evaluated.
I wrote very less.
You wrote very 1 or 2 points. And in criticism also, there are some standard criticisms like they are armchair anthropologists, they did not do any field work. Such things you should prioritize. And then in the conclusion, you can say, even though they are very bad, they are the forefathers of anthropology, so their work had inspired others to work upon. So such things you can bring in. Then again, in diffusion school also, try to mention diffusion and their work. Nice. Nice. Your structure is nice for this question. But here you can draw some diagrams now. For culture circle you have drawn, but for German school also you can draw one diagram.
Okay.
Then if you can find any current relevance or one more case study, if you can find anything apart from age area, you can mention it. Nice. This answer is nice, but okay, fine. This answer is fine, Siddharth. You have done everything. Second question is fine. Functionist school of thought as a, I did not get this word, as a reaction to evolution and definition.
Arose as a reaction.
Okay. Rather than giving this definition, you can write what functionalism means. Like functionalism means this X and Y. So you can write that. Then you can write about what Malinowski thought and what R.C. Brown thought. Then when writing about Malinowski, write one example or one case study of his and highlight that case study. And while writing Robert Brown also, write such Robert Brown example.
Okay.
Oh, hi, bro. And try to write one case study for this and try to highlight it. This question you can write some more, Siddharth.
My content is not good in this.
Your functionalism is, you can write by functionalism definition only. This question once read upon functionalism is very important. You can get one question in the exam also. Structure is fine, but your content is very minimal. You can write some case studies because both of them have very good case studies. And their work also you can write one in Andaman Nicobar Islands and one in the Trobriand Islands. So those two things you can mention. So economic anthropology, try to mention one anthropologist's name and his and try to define it. Then in the second part, before write, okay, meaning you can elaborate and contribution is fine. Kula exchange, try to draw one diagram and make a box around it, Siddharth.
Okay.
Exchange. Okay, nice. Conclusion also fine, Siddharth. In structuralism, when you are writing, it is one very difficult thing to remember structuralism. So, so try to directly mention his works like binary opposites, aliens theory, elementary. These things you try to make, because see, you're just writing. In Levi-Strauss, you can write about the binary opposites. You are given every positive and negative. You have mentioned it. Then you can write about aliens theory. You have mentioned it, but aliens theory try to elaborate more. Then you can write about mythologues. In while writing about mythologues, you can write how you analyze mythologues and found the structure around it. So then in the conclusion, you can criticize his work because it's so abrupt. It's about the mind and everything. Then you can conclusion, you can say structuralism had given alternate ideologies to all the people, and then you can conclude by saying it had been one. You can say good things about anthropology in the conclusion. So here Edmund Leach have written Highlanders, Highland Burmese. Nice. But you should elaborate and analyze more. You are just mentioning them, but try to make 1 or 2 points more about what Edmund Leach has done, why it had been important. We had talked about the life cycle, right? It is not always in a linear. In every life cycle, everything changes based on power. So such things you can write. Symbolism question is good, Siddharth.
Okay, sir.
Here you can write some current relevance. As I said about the sacred views, you can think some current relevance here after criticism. Try to write 1 or 2 current relevance, and then in conclusion you can write some good conclusion for this. Historical particularism is fine. Here criticisms are very important. Try to write more criticism, no, Siddharth. You should write about he did not give any theory, he just collected all the data. And this all just lump sum work. It's not anthropology work. There are some very good criticisms. When you are writing criticism also, there are some very good anthropologists who criticize his work. For example, I could not recollect his name there, but there is one anthropologist who criticized Franz Boas very badly. You can write his name and can.
Even in contributions, you have to write criticism more. Like, even if it's not critically substantiate or critically analyze.
You should write his contribution, but criticism is fine. You should write criticism also, because when you're writing anthropology, if someone criticizes only, then new school evolves, right? Mostly in theories. Then you can write after this criticism, based on this criticism, there is new school that has arisen in the conclusion. That should be the basic structure for this theory's answers.
Okay.
So LS Morgan is fine. This question, there are some very beautiful terms that he had used. Once you go through IGNO book, there are some terms that he had given. So if you bring at least for one evaluation, those terms, that could be fine for every sub part. Malinowski, this thing is fine. Culture and personality, you are right about culture, personality, culture, and both things. You can work more upon your content, Siddharth.
Okay, sir.
You can, like, your structuring is fine. You have got some structure, like you are finding out the keywords and writing some relevance to the question, but your content is not up to the mark. So try to re-revise the content and try to make it short.
Okay, sir.
Then find some current relevance when you are updating your content only. Some answers are done very well. Like in the 20 markers, you did fairly well rather than 15 marker. So in 15 marker, you are just writing whatever is there in your notes, as if you are just replicating your rough notes. But it should be more structured. That is one thing you should work upon.
Should I elaborate and explain it more in the 50 markers?
You should elaborate, explain it more, and you should bring in more case studies in your examples, some standard case studies. And your point wise, your point wise is fine. You can write answers in point wise only. That is not an issue. But try to find more examples, more content for each thing.
Okay, sure.
That's it, Siddharth. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Prashant, you remembered all the questions, huh? Nice.
No, sir. I left 2 questions, sir.
Why time is not sufficient?
Yes, sir. Time is not sufficient. And for 4th question, 15 marks also, I haven't got some time to content tips.
Oh, you got 8.5 and 15 markers, huh? Nice.
One question, sir. One question.
Here, as I said, you can start by some introduction. If you remembered, right? You should write on anthropologist's name, his work, and definition.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That should be standard introduction. Then psychic unit you can elaborate. Picture is fine. You should write about different anthropologists also. You can write about E.B. Taylor, L.S. Morgan, then Fraser, how they use this idea. Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
You're using 2 pens, huh? I think you can't use. Maybe
yes,
there is once you go to UPSC, you can use such in 2 pens. You can use, huh?
No, sir. Sir said, please don't use multiple pens. Use only one and highlight with some like.
Yeah, you can
use
change
pencil.
your pen, I guess, in between. Diffusion school is fine. You have written everything in 3 hours, huh? All these things.
I left 3 questions, sir.
Nice.
That's the reason I didn't got some time, sir. I just put more points in this 20 markers. I spent more time on 20 markers, so I didn't got time for 15 marks.
You're writing significance, try to highlight criticism also there only.
Sure.
Like, for example, when you're writing significance of British anthropologist, then you try to write what the criticism are there itself and try to keep side-sided for it also.
Okay.
And for this British anthropologist, there is no diagram for this series. German school, it is not called culture circles. There is one more term that they have used. Something in German only it will be there. Try to use that term only. Culture crease or culture crise, I do not remember it exactly.
Yes, sir. Culture crease. It can also be called as culture circle. 6 points.
Yeah, you can call it as culture circle, but when you're writing, try to write in German only, because in this diagram, when you're highlighting, try to use the German phrase.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
And see, American, you did not have space only to write about American. You wrote so much about British
Yes,
and German only. British, you can reduce. British, it's just the starting phase of diffusion. It's not worth it. Then you can write about German and American in more space. Conclusion, you should not write conclusion. You just write it. You should not write such conclusions, right? They did not ask similarity differences. No. You should just write what are the major features. Don't compare them. When you're writing such answers, when you're explaining 2 things, first you write about biocultural criticism, then you write about structuralism criticism. That's it.
That's it.
And write one case study of both of them. For example, for R.C. Brown, you can write about COVID, COUVADE. There is one case study of him who had done it. Andaman Nicobar, he had done that thing. Then for when you're writing Malanas, you can write about the Coularing exchange, how it had been explained for individual. So 2 things you can correlate. Economic anthropology, same. Write on anthropologist name, then elaborate.
Sir, should they write that chapter, economic anthropology chapter? They'll have 2 definitions, right? So I actually started with that, sir. Like, is it necessary? I gave 2 paragraphs for that.
That is it. This answer is fine. Remaining part is fine. Wow, you have given so much content, as if you are writing the entire notes. Try to make your point shorter. Word limit is also crossing in every question. Like, if there is a word limit, if you cross that word limit, it will be penalized. So try to make your points more crisper and try to prioritize what points you should write. Then try to make more diagrams. Your entire answer is more monotonous. Everything is looking similar only. There is no change, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that you should work upon. Try to make your structure is fine, but try to make your point very crisp. Don't write such big paragraphs. Try to make it 2 or 3 lines. Make it more crisp.
Okay.
Don't write conclusion side heading next time onwards.
Sure, sir.
Where is national character study?
Sir, actually included in those points.
No. When they're asking separately, a structure should be also separately. You should mention national character study. This introduction is fine, but only write 3 or 4 lines only. Like you have said, historical particularism, it is given by Franz Boas. Then no need to write this emerged as a reaction to classification evolution. Rather than you can directly say what historical particularism is. You are saying that in historical particularism, anything, the culture which is having in the present relevance had something to do with history of that place. But it should not be generalized, but it is specific to that place. Such definition you can write. Then you can elaborate about the different things. And then you should also write his he had worked in some American Red Indian players, no? Pumi, Zigo, there are 4 or 5 tribes. You should write about those tribes also. Then you should write criticism of his work. Then the conclusion part is fine. No, functionalism, you should elaborate what functionalism means. Then you can write about Malinowski's work on kinship. You should find content for this question. This you have already written, right? In earlier part, CPPC. Try to write all the answers, and when you are writing answers, don't write bada paragraphs. Try to make it less paragraphs, because if you are writing over the word limit also, it is very not very good for you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And try to add some flowcharts, diagrams, and try to make your answer more unique. Don't try to monotonize. Okay, like a monotone. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, about that size of the word, sir. Size of the word.
Are your voice is breaking up?
Decrease it. Decreases word, sir.
Yeah, you should reduce. You should make your points more crisp. Point 1.
Sir.
Then you should make your answers more beautiful. Like add some more diagrams. Those are 2 things that you should do work upon. These breaks are there in Zoom call. Tarun, Ajay Maurya, Pranay Prashant, Sonu Mahesh, Tejeswari. Wait a second. Nishant Chauhan. Please unmute yourself, Nishant Chauhan.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Nishant. Nishant, don't write introduction, body, conclusion. Don't mention those words. First thing.
Okay.
Oh, the introduction is too big, Nishant. Try to make introduction short.
Okay, sir.
As I said, your word limit is crossing. There is always a word limit. Don't try to breach that word limit.
Okay.
That's the first thing you should remember, because when you are breaching it, you will be penalized in UPSC.
Okay, sir.
-2 marks also. So introduction, try to use only one anthropologist name and try to elaborate what they are saying. Then you can talk about psychic unit of mankind directly. No need of assumption of classic evolutionists.
Sir,
You
actually,
talk
I derived the concept of psychic unity from those assumptions itself, sir.
Yeah. You can derive, but here you no need to write all those things. You can directly state about psychic unity. Then you can briefly say that these are the assumptions that they have taken, the classic evolutionists. One such assumption is psychic unity of mankind. Then elaborate about psychic unity.
Okay, sure, sir.
If it is about classic evolutionists, then you can write all these things, assumptions, what their work is about, what are the criticism. But they are specifically asking about psychic unity, right?
Okay, sir.
So you should change your answer as per the demand of the question.
Okay, sir.
Question is not asking about all these things, Nishant. Once again read the question and try to write exactly to the question only. They are asking about only psychic unit of mankind, what that means, what is the issues about it, and who all have given this psychic unit of mankind. But you have given an answer based on classic evolutionists.
Okay, sir.
So this you should change. You should try to answer to the demand of the question.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, try to draw a diagram of culture circle also, no? Then criticism also add here.
Okay, sir.
Basically, in diffusion, American school is the most important school. Rather than British and German, American is the one which had influenced other schools, like the other future, like functionalism, and most of the Indian anthropologists also come from the American school of thought only. So when you're writing, try to prioritize American school of thought.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Here, introduction is about functionalism. Fine. Word limit, Nishant, you should reduce your word limit. You should keep it in your mind. Like you have written every answer, right?
No, sir. I have attended 12 questions, sir.
On 3 hours only?
Yeah, no, sir. 3 or 6 minutes.
Okay, 3 hours, 6 minutes, 3 hours. So try to reduce your content. Like,
sir, actually, I tried to incorporate almost every example that's present from multiple
I
sources,
can understand. Like to reduce your content, make these 3 things in your mind. One, try to make your point very crisp. Like in 2 lines, you should complete the entire 5 lines ka crisp. That will come from revision.
Okay.
That is the first thing. Second, you should write only one example mostly, and try to highlight that example. Third, try to incorporate more anthropologists' name and their works.
Sure, sir.
Rather than just writing about the same thing. And fourth, you can write some current relevance to get extra marks. Rather than just everyone will be writing the same content, right?
Okay.
So for difference should be in the value addition part.
Okay, sir.
Are you giving mains this year?
No, sir. Actually, I'm preparing for 2023, sir.
Okay. Not an issue. Economic anthropology also try to write one introduction about some anthropologist name, and then you can elaborate.
Okay, sir.
This answer is fine. Wow, you got this much time to draw diagrams also, na? Nice.
Sir, actually, I practiced especially for diagrams separately, sir. Like I.
Yeah, you should practice. Nice. This answer is fine. This Collaring thermal exchange question is very good. You can write same content anywhere else. Try to write some conclusion also.
Okay.
But your content is too good. You are right. You have written everything without seeing only, no?
Yes, sir.
Oh. The 7th question answer is very good.
Sure.
But again, see, you are writing so many words. Once after the discussion is done, try to count how many words you have written.
Okay, sir.
Like in
Sir,
each
actually,
page.
yes, sir. Actually, while writing the answer, I knew that the content, like the world
Yeah.
is rich, but I
Basically,
wanted
when
to
you are
incorporate
writing
all
any
the
answer,
examples,
for
sir.
example, no, that I know you should prioritize when you are writing an answer from next test onwards. Try to prioritize. Don't write everything that you know. So your answer, if it is from 250 plus or minus 10%, that is 275 words. Like if it is not more than, it should not be more than 275 words.
Okay, sir.
So try to make sure that you don't cross the word limit, and then you try to prioritize and reduce your answers, like the points.
Okay, sir.
And try to don't break the structure, introduction, body, conclusion, or missing conclusion mostly all the questions.
Okay, sir.
That you should work upon. The remaining things are fine. You have all the content. Do you have any doubts specifically this question I should discuss? Is there anything?
Sir, Malinowski's kinship studies, sir. Like I didn't know the answer at all.
Once go through the model test series. There you can.
Sir, model answers are not like model answers, sir. Like sir has reached the word limit. He gave each answer like 2-3 pages.
I did not get it. What?
Sir, model answers are not like model answers, sir. Like sir incorporated like the whole thing about the study. Like I mean, he gave the answer like in 3-4 pages.
Yeah, you should read upon and you should make it an answer. That should be a task.
Sir, in kinship studies also, sir eventually mentioned about the collaring only, sir. Like lastly.
Okay, I'll discuss it, sir, once, and I'll give you answer for that question.
Okay, sir.
Good content. Okay, thank you, Nishant.
Thank you.
Is Tarun present? Tarun,
Yes,
unmute.
sir. Yes, sir.
Tarun, you have 10.14 questions. In 3 hours only you have written, or more than
Yes,
3
sir.
hours?
I wrote in 3 hours, sir. But I left one question and I didn't finish 2-3 questions completely.
Okay. But you should write every answer. Try to write something or other in each question. So again, as I said to earlier people also, when you're writing introduction, try to incorporate anthropologist name, his work, then definition.
Okay, sir, but the question is about psychic unity of mankind. So,
but on special reference to E.B. Taylor. So you can write about E.B. Taylor in the introduction. In introduction, anthropology, try to make it a habit.
Should I
then
mention?
You can elaborate about psychic unity in the next second paragraph.
Okay, sir.
Then in psychic unity, can elaborate.
Sir, I elaborated about psychic unity under the basic postulates, and I wrote about the different schools. Then I explained about E.B. Taylor belongs to British School of Anthropology and wrote about what he told about psychic unity.
Arun?
Sir.
Okay. Your voice got cut in between. So I'm just looking here. Tarun, your content is fine. First thing, you should prioritize or structure your answer better. So I'll say one example. In first question only, try to start by saying what E.B. Taylor had done. What is his work? Introduction.
Okay.
Then you write this paragraph, psychic unity of mankind. Everything which you have written with the diagram.
Okay.
Then
sir.
you can elaborate about E.B. Taylor specifically.
Achha. Okay, sir.
Then at the end, you can write about the criticism part.
Okay,
so this
sir.
is the structure of your answer. And you have given some contemporary relevance also. It is very good.
Okay,
then,
sir. What's the average marks that is considered good for a 20 marker?
9 to 11.
Oh.
A definition is very long. Like definition, you should not write like this. But try to find on anthropology, you have given any definition. So first you should find some definitions and on anthropology and correlate both of them for every institution and for every sub branch.
Okay, sir.
Then you can use the same thing again and again in multiple areas. As I said earlier, here American school is very important. So try to prioritize American school more. British school, you can only write half page only. It is nonsense. British school is very bad. in diffusional. Then you should write about German, because German's idea copied by Americans, and you can elaborate on Americans.
Okay, sir.
That is the way you should write this answer. Here you should write about functionalism. First of all, you try to do this task. Right, 4 things you should do. First, you should find out the definition of every school, functionalism, structuralism, with one anthropologist name. Okay, that should be your first task. Second task is to prioritize your words, like which you should write first and which you should write next. That should be your second task. Third thing, when you're writing points, also try to end those points on a good note. The conclusion part, there are some words like in spite. In spite is not word. You should use despite. Such wordings you should change.
Okay, sir.
Then fourth, when you're writing any very good extraordinary thing, for example, here you have written the current relevance aspect in evaluation, I guess.
Yes, sir. First question.
So try to make a box around it completely. Contemporary relevance.
The whole contemporary relevance.
Contemporary relevance, you can make a box because it is one validation that you have done right.
Okay, sir.
But you should also see the word keywords in your answer. Like you have done fairly well, but you should work more upon the prioritization part. Again, economic anthropology, try to find an anthropologist name and his definition. Blurring is good.
Okay.
Structuralism introduction is fine. Kinship system, binary opposition, alliance theory, incestavo. Where is alliance theory? You have mentioned the word. Just find a brain all the Here he called this as alliance theory. Alliance theory you can.
It up in the above paragraph, sir. According
I got it. Incestavo you explained from binary opposition, but alliance theory you can draw on diagram also. Myth you have mentioned. Myth is very fine. Mythologs. No one had written until now. Here, this is your different aspect. Here you can write briefly about Edmund Leach also. Even though they did not ask, in the conclusion you can mention about one other anthropologist, right? There is one more anthropologist who worked about structuralism. In such way you can conclude.
Sir, I have a doubt. Can I do the rough work like in the page number 27? I wrote something on the sidelines. Can I write it on the main paper?
No, you can't write anything on sidelines. You should not write anything. Negative marks. So you should not breach your margins. Okay, we have any rough work you can do in the last page. They will provide you rough work over there, but you can't write in your answer. These are all penalty marks. You should not do those things in the final exam.
Sir, another doubt I have is that should I stick to this tabular form, or should I write about symbolic first and then about interpretative? Or should I stick to this tabular form?
The other one way is very fine. Like symbolic and interpretative differently. No need to write the tabular form. Tabular forms only when they're asking about the differences. Here they're asking about distinguishing features of each school, right? But if they're asking, try to like find out the similarities and differences between symbolic and interpretative, then you can use such diagrams. But now you should write in structure. You should not follow this thing.
Sir, where can I improve on that question? I got 9.5 out of 20 here. Last question.
Here you can write first about Victor Tanarka book if there is anything. Then you can write about his work in the Nedumbu, what they have done.
Okay.
Then you can write about the interpretative Geats ka Bali cockfight and you can elaborate upon it. Then you can write about the current relevance something about, as I said, regarding the sacred groves.
Okay, sir.
So if you could write about those symbols, and you can write about what symbol and symbolism means and how it is being used even today. Like for example, when you are going to any temple, you will not wear any temple or any religious place. You will not wear anything, right? Like the slippers part.
Yes, sir.
Living outside, it is one of the symbol, and there are some symbolism you will follow in the sacred places. Such things you can write in the conclusion. Like even today we are following, everything is a symbol and symbolism in this society. Even the language also is type of a symbol. Such conclusion you can bring in. Is there anything specifically you need to ask? I think your content is fine, but you should prioritize. Your structure should change a lot.
Like what, sir? I didn't get you.
First part, like when you're prioritizing your answers, as I said in the first question, right? When you're writing psychic unity, so prioritizing is what structure means.
Okay.
Then in the introduction and conclusion, you should highlight some anthropologist name and you should highlight those things.
Okay.
And in the body, structure should be good. Try to answer every key word of it.
Sir, in the last 20 marker about the distinguishing features between separate Geats interpretative and symbolic turner, in that question, should I mention the books
Yeah,
about
you
the?
should mention.
But the question is specifically about their theories, no, sir. So, is it appropriate to mention
Yeah,
that?
yeah, it is appropriate only. When you are writing some theory, it is from some example and some book they have written on the right. You can mention.
Okay, sir.
Tarun is done. Ajay Maurya. Ajay, please switch on your.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, Ajay. 1 second. Oh, Ajay. Did you attempt all the questions, sir? No, right?
This time I left 4 questions. Last time I left 2 questions.
Yeah. This time you have done well only. Like, it is nice. I write about E.B. Taylor. Nice. Unit of mankind. Rose. Criticism part, you should elaborate more because critical evaluate, right? Conclusion is fine. This question is good. Then definition, you can remove the first paragraph. You can start by the second thing. Say what definition means rather than saying it is a criticism. Try to say the positive side of definition. Like it is about an idea where culture had been spread over geographical regions.
Yes.
By constant touch. Such things you can write. Then you can write.
Yeah, as just before you mentioned, like I can associate one thinker with one definition in all the cases. Yeah, I'm working on the same. Like this will help in suddenly writing the introduction, and time will be not wasted.
Yeah. That you should work upon. Every school you can write one thinker name, one book.
Yeah.
Here, try to give more weightage to American school of in definition. Americans is the one who had bought this idea and made it more universal.
Yes.
Try to make American more priority to Americans rather than the British ones.
Yes. Yeah, actually, that was the first in Britishers. Then I got into the flow, and then I realized
You have made so many about reverse Perry. Most of them had said only one thing. Egypt is the center.
Yeah.
But Americans' idea is fine. You should write more about Americans. The Whistler culture circle and one diagram. See, your structure had improved. Last time you were written from the notes, no? I have said like that, no? Like you're writing everything as it fits in your notes, but this time it's fine.
Yeah, this time I tried to work upon structure, but just because the more focus on structure, I left 4 questions, even though I knew the answers also.
Not an issue. You can work upon it the next time. You can improve the speed. Once you're done with the structuring part, then you can work upon your speed.
I'm not able to generate more diagrams. I don't know why this is happening.
Practice more using examples and diagrams before writing your answer. For everything, try to make it a point to make some diagram.
Before attempting questions, I can do some rough work like.
Yeah, you can do.
Yeah.
This answer is fine. Economic anthropology. Binary opposites. You can write about alliance theory and mythologs to add some more content in that structuralism part. Conclusion, you can say about the lead also. Edmund Leach, sorry. Here, national character studies should be given more weightage.
Yes,
this question did not write about anything on national character study only. You just mentioned about Margaret Mead and Ruth Benedict.
Yes.
But specifically, they asked about NCS. That every keyword you should mention. There are 3 keywords. You only talked about 2 things now.
Yeah.
Third keyword, try to mention.
And this time I have done like in critically evaluate questions, I have directly written that pros and then
criticism
1, 2, 3, 4, and then cons, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. I think
I see. It is fine.
Yeah.
Remaining parts, once you go through the content that Sarah had provided, and then try to make your own structure, try to make it smaller and try to make a structure. Remaining, you have improved a lot from the last test. Yes, sorry.
Good evening, sir.
Unmuted. Oh wow, you have written all the questions you attempted, huh?
Yes, sir.
Nice. In 3 hours on, right?
Sir, I took half an hour extra, sir.
Half an hour.
Yes, sir.
Try to work up in a speed then.
Sure, sir. I think I have reached the word limit.
Word limit also you have breached, huh? Introduction, you can directly start by psychic unity or E.B. Taylor. No need to write the question about what human beings share. This
Okay, sir.
for GS you can write such introductions, but anthropology try to use the third paragraph. You can use that introduction. Your conclusion is fine in this. You have mentioned about God and child, so you have brought in your list also. The remaining part is good. Diffusionism, as I said, try to use some anthropologist name and elaborate diffusionism. Then the
Okay, sir.
remaining schools you can write. British you can reduce. Give more priority to American school. You should write functionalism definition introduction rather than saying there are two versions, because it is the question. Right? So say what functionalism means and how one thing is like how culture is like working about based on function. What are the functions of culture? Such introduction you can bring in. The remaining part is fine. The economic anthropology, nice introduction. Can quote some anthropologist name with that introduction.
Okay.
That is one thing that is missing out. Remaining thing is fine. Cool. Like thermal exchange you can again. This diagram you can reduce. No need of this diagram, and you can reduce the points also. 6 or 7 points are fine. 4 to 5 points are fine. Right? Give some space in between, so pages can be also filled. The remaining 3 is fine. Wow, you are given all these examples. Nice. Binary opposites, alliance theory, goods and services. Nice. In conclusion, I can say about the other structures also, like Edmund Leach, as I said earlier.
Okay. Okay.
You are giving main this year?
No, sir.
Okay.
I'm preparing for 2022.
This question is fine. The entire answer you have written every point that you know, but your next priority is to reduce the point, like only to make it more crisp, and make sure that your word limit does not breach. And then try to use some flowcharts. Again, it is all monotonous, right? You are just everything in a flow. Try to make that monotony using some diagrams and flowcharts.
I'll do that.
This question is good. NGS you have mentioned. Nice. Symbolic anthropology, you have written about everything, right? Okay. Nice. Do you have any specific question that you need to ask?
Sir, actually, I have some content gap in culture area and culture circle,
Okay.
sir.
So,
I think I have to work on.
So for culture area, you can go through IGNO. IGNO is fine for content aspect.
Okay.
So that you can go upon. Theories is fine. You have done very good. All the theories you have read and you have written. But that only you should prioritize your answers, and word limit you should not breach.
Okay, sir. That's
Try
why.
to once count your word limit and try to make it a habit to reduce that thing. Once you sit and count the word limit for question number 5 and by how many words you have breached it, then you can get a brief idea in one page how many words you are writing, and then you can work upon the things to reduce your words. Mahesh, what is your name in this telegram? I was searching for your name.
Sir, Lazy Lion.
Okay.
Lazy Lion, sir. Lazy Lion.
Okay, I found your name.
Sir, sorry, sir.
Not an issue. You attempted all the questions, sir? 14?
Yes, sir. Yes.
In 3 hours only. First thing.
Okay, sir.
Because critically evaluate, when you are writing EB Taylor ka this much, you are elaborating everything, try to give criticism also more. There are very much, so many criticism on crash evaluationist. Like you can write so many.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
you
sir.
can elaborate also.
Yes, sir.
But presentation is fine, your content placing is fine, structure is fine. Content is also good. In the conclusion, you can write about the neo-evolutionists, how they revived the idea of psychic unity, about the parabolic evolution. Like you can write about Leslie White, God and Child.
Okay, sir.
Even cognitive anthropology also fine.
Sir.
Nice. Your conclusion also fine. This first question I have done justice to the entire question that they asked about. Diffusionism, nice. Your definition is nice, but if it is defined by some anthropologist, it could be better.
Sir, I will work on that. I got the point from you. I'll definitely next thing.
That you can work upon. And as I said, British school, you should also prioritize your answers. Like British school is not very important. So try to reduce your space for British school, and remaining can elaborate. Remaining is fine. You are done good. Nice. Second question is nice, but the conclusion you can write on a positive side. Nice. Your conclusion also fine. You can write about how diffusionism helped in functionalist historical particularism. and some
I wrote about, I think, the neo-diffusion.
Yeah, neo-diffusionism you have written, but neo-diffusionism is not so popular. This because diffusionism had given rise to different schools of the functionalism. All these schools are rather than nothing but from the ideas of diffusionism only. And you can also write some current relevance also. Even today, there is a huge diffusion happening due to internet culture diffusion happening virtually also. Such examples you can bring in.
Yes. Okay, sir. Okay. Sure.
Wow, first time I'm seeing Raymond Fitka example. Nice. Ticopias. Good one.
Sir.
Ticopias is also very good case study. You can mention it somewhere. Like how their entire lifestyle had changed to some rubber plantation come in. So Ticopian case study is one you can quote multiple times.
Sir.
Yes. You can, you have seen the earlier Tejasrika paper. She had mentioned others also. Thermal exchange, not only colouring, but she had brought in some 3-4 examples. Ugirbu, Onya.
I have written that, sir.
Okay. Vasi.
I have written that also.
Okay. Vasi or written, Ugirbu you written. Nice. Ugirbu. Nice. This answer is nice. See again, yeah, nice. This answer is fine. Conclusion, you can, as I said, you can mention about, you have mentioned about that also. Nice. Yeah. You have done very well.
So regarding sir, pardon, sir.
You have done very well. Like how many marks you got? I'm just checking your marks. 111 is also very good score. Like one thing you should work upon is to use some more current relevance. Yeah, sir. Any doubt you are having?
Sir, actually, the remarks are that more content is required. Sir.
Content is fine. You have got the content. We are saying more analysis. Like everything when you are writing, try to analyze. Say, for example, I'll show you some answer and then I can explain you more briefly. So when you're writing about national character study, why did you write about Mervyn Harris here?
Copy, sir.
In national character study, why did you write about Mervyn Harris?
Sir, I read a definition about national character study by Mervyn Harris. That's okay.
Is it? Mervyn Harris is basically about this cultural materialism, right?
Materialism, sir. Yes, sir. Understood.
Yeah, but I think
I'll
he's
check
not.
it. I'll recheck it.
Once you go through it. So here you are writing about, say, national character study. So introduction you should say about national character study. Then you can, methodology, example. Fine, you are written good content only. You have got everything right only. No need to. Fine, your answers are fine. Good. Everything is fine.
Sir.
15 marker, just I'll see 15 marker. Then if you have any specific doubt, then we can discuss that thing.
Anis, I just want to know that what is that content lacking, and what I just want to know what is lacking in my answer. That is, so I can improve upon that.
Your answer is more or less fine. I don't see any deficit in your answer to like so much transformative change. Nothing to improve, I'll say. In theories part as such, there are no issues in your answer. Basically, we will check only 4 or 5 aspects in every anthropologist answer. Anthropology answer. One, if there is any anthropologist name, have you written the relevant answer to the question that you have ticked? Then, do you have any good introduction that you have did well? And have you done fairly well in the conclusion part that you have done? In the body, are you using any diagrams and some anthropologist work and some case study that you have done? One thing you can work upon is the current relevance. If you want to make a big change, apart from that, everything is fine.
Okay, sir. Sir.
That's it.